You get to own that. Liz Oyer is still with us, along with former U.S. Ambassador to Russia and MS Now International Affairs analyst Michael McFaul. Ambassador, Politico notes we don't know if Patel would meet with Putin or any of his top aides. We don't know what the agenda would be. Just start us off by talking about the level of work necessary to adequately prepare someone like Patel to meet with anyone affiliated with the Russian government.
Well, first, it hasn't happened in a long time. The last FBI director to visit was there when I was ambassador in 2013. That was Robert Mueller, and he came for a very specific purpose. I want to emphasize this. He came just a few weeks after there was this horrible terrorist attacks during the Boston Marathon. They were people that had lived in Russia before, and he came to work with his counterpart, the head of the FSB, that's the equivalent of the FBI in Russia, and they did cooperate. I want to emphasize, this is a long time ago. They helped us with that investigation, but it was for a very concrete reason that he came to Moscow. And the initial question I had when I read that reporting, what's the purpose of this trip? Because if the only purpose is to meet with his counterpart, by the way, it's the same guy, Alexander Bortnikov, a very, very experienced person close to Putin, and it's just to stand next to Bortnikov, that's a win for Russia. That's a photo op that says we're normalizing relations, we're all great powers together, and to give him that, I hope that we would get something in return that is valuable to American national interests, and I'm just not sure what that is.
It also seems worth the reminder, Ambassador, that in the past, Patel has tried to cast doubt on investigating whether Trump or his allies colluded with Russia to help him win the 2016 election, an episode he now calls the Russiagate hoax. Could that come into play here on this trip?
Well, I hope not, because the facts are overwhelming. In fact, the same Robert Mueller I just talked about published hundreds of pages showing what the Russians did in 2016. The Trump administration just published literally just published last week, very compelling evidence of what the Russians did in the 2020 election, particularly involving Hunter Biden and Burisma and all these rumors. They themselves said that was the Russians. So I think it would be extremely awkward for him to walk into that, especially with Mr. Bortnikov. I don't think he'll meet with Putin. I would be very surprised by that. But Bortnikov is the head of the FSB. That's the KGB, the former KGB. That's literally the organization that gets involved in meddling in elections abroad. That's also the organization that is helping the intelligence to support Putin's war in Ukraine. So if he talks about something, I hope he talks about that, which is important to our security, and not what the Russians did 10 years ago in terms of their interference in our election, because I don't think that Mr. Patel would carry the right message, given, as you said, his previous statements on that issue.
Ambassador, you weren't supposed to read the files about Russia. You're just supposed to stay focused on what the president told you to stay focused on, which is China's involvement. Liz, I know that all of this sort of seems like, okay, we're talking about October here. I think it becomes particularly relevant this week because of Blanche's confirmation hearing. You heard that exchange with Senator Whitehouse where Blanche defends Patel. I mean, would you expect the acting attorney general to, I don't know, have a say on a trip like this?
Well, I think that what ties all this together is the fact that we have people with really horrible judgment in positions of tremendous power in this administration. I mean, Kash Patel has demonstrated on the public stage time and time again that his judgment is terrible. The attorney general is the person to whom the FBI director reports. That would be potentially Blanche if he's confirmed. Blanche himself has unbelievably awful judgment. We talked in the last segment about how he is now saying that this weaponization fund is dead. He checked the box with the meeting with the Epstein victims. But why did he have to do that with a gun to his head? Why didn't he realize that the weaponization fund shouldn't have been signed in the first place? The fact that he's now defending Kash Patel's leadership suggests that the two of them are really teeing us up for a lot of very dangerous situations in their joint leadership of the Justice Department and the FBI.
I'm struck by two two elements here, Ambassador. One is the October date, which seems very close to the midterm elections. And I'm also struck by the fact that in light of all of the behavior that Liz just laid out, that you are sending an embattled FBI director to a place where counterintelligence and exploiting this type of behavior is their bread and butter. What are the risks of a trip like this?
Well, they're really good at that. I want everybody to understand the Russians are really good at counterintelligence. They're good at their work. This guy Bortnikov has been in the job for 2 decades, very close to Putin, also a former KGB agent. So I hope that if Mr. Patel takes this trip, he's fully briefed as to what he's walking into. And the second thing I don't really understand, why is he going to St. Petersburg? That's what the reporting said. That suggests to me that there's some kind of international conference of intelligence organizations. That, to me, is a red flag. Don't go to that conference. Don't show up for that. That is a photo op that will only be useful to the Russians. I don't understand what would be the national security interest for the United States. Maybe there's something I don't understand. Maybe there's an important reason to go to St. Petersburg. But traditionally, that's where they have their international conferences. It's a beautiful city. You should go as a tourist, but you should not go as the FBI director.